Well, there you go, friends. Well, here it is. Sunday night, and dark as heck out, and I guess we're going to get a reasonable snowstorm. I don't think glaciers are going to reform on it or any because of it, but it's going to be a doozy, and it's been cold for the last day or two, give or take. Nothing necessarily to write home about, but winter's coming, going to do its worst. And I thought it might be fun to just mention this great wood stove I once had. I know there was some interest in it. People were, I don't know, I guess I must have made some mention of it on Facebook or maybe on one of my other videos. But yeah, when I was married to my first wife, Molly, this was many years ago. I guess, let's see, would have been the late 70s into the early 80s, give or take, the mid to late 70s. We lived in a town, she and I, with the kids, lived in a town called Forksville, Pennsylvania. Beautiful town. In the middle of the forest up there, I'd say maybe about 40 miles northeast of Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Right. It's just all woods. The town itself, Forksville, whew, I think the actual village itself be lucky if it had 100 people. In fact, I don't think it did. It maybe now it's different. I don't know. I haven't been up there in a bit, but it was a beautiful town. I know many a day I'd get up in the morning to head down to Williamsport to work, and I'd just be just so tickled to see the landscape I had to drive through. It was just gorgeous. Yeah, some days you'd see more bears than people. It was just amazing. Lumber trucks flying back and forth, bringing wood to one sawmill or another. And all in all, pretty cool. Well, one way or another, one way or another, we came upon a wood stove, a kitchen wood stove, like you see in the old time movies. Yeah, this one, I'm guessing from the 1900s, the early 1900s at least. Maybe a little older, maybe a little newer, but old. And definitely not off the showroom floor. And this one was a cook stove. So I think, if I recall right, I believe it had 6 burners that you could keep working. There were 2 on the left that sat over the main firebox. So they were the hot ones. Then there were 2 that would get the tip of the flame as the flames came off the wood. They would come up to the first burner area, and then be with the proper draft going. They would then move to your right and go into a medium burner area where perhaps you could have a frying pan or perhaps something like maybe you're cooking vegetables, boiling potatoes or something. And then there was a third row, pair of burners that, well, if you had the thing going really hot, you could probably cook with them too. But mostly I think they were used for, maybe getting baby formula hot, perhaps keeping the coffee warm, that kind of thing, making tea. And, or maybe just get your soup warm. And, and then from there, the flame pattern would then take the flame and the heat and smoke up an iron chimney, a tin chimney that then would have various it actually did have a baffle in it to kind of keep the heat in the stove. You had to adjust that so you didn't fill the house with smoke. But if you did it right, you could make the stove surface hotter and the stove hotter and thereby the house warmer. But if you did it too tight, well, then smoke would start squirting out different holes in the stove. And if you opened it too much, a lot of the heat would just go up the chimney. And you weren't about to heat the outside air up in Forksville. That wasn't going to happen, not in winter. And There was many a day where in Forksville it warmed up to zero. Okay. And 30 below zero was basically ho hum, time for bed. It did get that cold. I swear it was really chilly. But the stove, yeah, like I said, I somehow Molly and I got the stove. It wasn't in the house when we bought the house. We must have gotten it from somewhere. I'm afraid my memory just isn't that good as to who we got it from. They may have been wanting to get rid of it. They may have wanted a newer stove, whatever. One of them, they're gas fired, stoves, contraptions, yeah. They may finally got tired of having to chop firewood all week or all winter, and all summer. The, but I was a boiler maker then, and working in boilers, I had some sense of knowledge as to how to make the thing safe. And well, long story short, weren't too long. We had that thing sitting in the kitchen with a bunch of, by the way, I should mention, if you get one of those stoves, by all means, in the basement, put up a few more joists. Yeah, because those things are heavy. And, it'd be an awful thing. You finally got a meal just about cooked and the whole darn stove went right through the floor. And if there's downstairs neighbors, that could be, gee, I would imagine you'd get sued if they lived. And the basically it was once it was hooked into the chimney, that thing and fired up. Man, that thing was great, and it would keep the firewood was very cheap up in that neck of the woods. Again, in the forest northeast of Williamsport, you could get the ranger would give you a permit to, where lumbermen have been. They don't want necessarily the branches off the tree because they're too crooked, so they leave them. And so you can you give them maybe half a year to dry up a bit. You go in there with maybe a $10 permit and it was supposed to be a $10 permit for one cutting. But usually they knew, I think the Rangers knew most of the people in town weren't necessarily anywhere approaching Daddy Warbucks. So they'd say, hey, your permit's good just don't worry about it. Get that wood cut. That's what we want. We want more area so we can plant, new trees. So you're doing us a favor. We'll do you a favor. And you could get oak and maple and ash wood. Ash was the best. Because I believe ash doesn't leave creosote. The other woods might. Pine certainly does. And so that's what, by the end of summer into fall, I'd have, 7 or 8 cords of firewood laying there, 4 by 4 by 8. And that's pretty much how we'd heat the house. I mean, we had an oil burner down in the basement, but that wood stove sure made things pretty easy come winter, and it was nice to cook on it. My wife Molly got very good at cooking on that thing, and it was one of those heats that you really didn't burn food. It was pretty hard to do. In fact, we used to let my daughter Sunshine. She was maybe 5 or so, 5, 6, 7 years old. She'd cook her breakfast. She'd get up early in the morning and make herself some scrambled eggs with the wood stove. She knew how to adjust the damper a little bit. We banked a fire for her with, sometimes we'd get some coal, put it on for overnight. And she'd throw a few sticks on the coals and open the under damper. And pretty soon she was making scrambled eggs. You hear her down there whistling away. And then the Saturday morning cartoons would be on and she'd be a happy camper. All in all, it's if you can find one that you want to make sure it's all in tip-top shape, and many of them are or can be fixed, and you got yourself definitely something. It's like having a big hot rock in the house, and the heat does permeate much will permeate much of your home. It's just absolutely amazing. Of course, yeah, you still need a burner, a boiler of some sort or a furnace down in the basement, of course. But you'd be surprised how a wood stove really makes a difference. Anyway, I just thought I'd say they were kind of fun. It was fun to have. I have no idea what happened to that stove. Maybe Molly got rid of it after we got divorced. I don't know. But it was a sweet little stove. It really truly was, and I often think back fondly of it. It was pretty good. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention. Enjoy winter because it's a coming. We'll see you later, friends. Thank you, and God bless. Bye now.